At first glance, Hans Krasse's Brundibar looks like a charming children's opera.
Mightier than any czar, I, Olga Grinder Brundibar.
But Bodhi Tree Concerts' Walter Demel puts it in context.
It was an opera written in Czech that was being performed in a concentration camp. And the Germans never took the time or energy to translate it. And in its own childlike way, it was a very subversive piece.
And wonderfully so, exactly. It was exactly subversive, and the Nazis had no idea, and I love that.
Diana and Walter Dumel are the founders of Bodhi Tree Concerts. They're trying to pass on the backstory of Brundibar to young cast members like 12-year-old Benjamin Rodriguez.
The play is kind of anti-Hitler. It was originally performed in Czech, so the Germans didn't understand it and they didn't really translate it, so they propagandized an anti-Hitler thing. Kind of a small victory, but still.
I did tell Ben that story where the Nazis didn't translate the Czech, so they didn't know exactly what was going on, and they used that victory song at the end as one of their main themes of their propaganda film. So it's pretty special.
Max Schindler was at the Terezin concentration camp where the opera had been performed. He's glad to see that Brundibar is being presented to a new generation.
It's important. It reminds the world what happened during the war, and it brings this history alive again. And if we don't continue bringing this back, it'll be forgotten.
But of course, a lot of these children have no idea what this is really about, okay? So, and you cannot really tell too much to them because it's very scary. What these kids went through over there, very scary.
Rose Schindler and her husband Max take every opportunity to share their experiences with a younger generation.
When we came into Auschwitz, in my family, we were 10 people. My mother and 4 sisters and brothers went straight in the gas chambers. Anybody that came through Birkenau, Auschwitz, that's where they ended up, in the gas chambers, unless you were old enough to go to work.
It's important for this next generation to hear these stories and remember and retell and never let it happen again. And we also wanted to honor the children that lost their lives doing this show, and almost all of them did.
One way to honor that memory is with the hearts worn by the performers.
The Nazis, as you know, they had the Jewish stars, but we don't want to have bad feelings, and we're all friends here, so we've replaced the star with a heart, showing that it's all love, compassion, and togetherness.
Maestro, please.
Francesca D'Amico sings the role of Annette, the little sister.
Ducks and geese up high were flying.
For the show, there's going to be a Holocaust survivor. I think her name's Edie. And she's going to tell her story and how she survived and stuff.
Though the story in the opera could stand on its own, this is a story reflective of a chapter in the human experience that just needs to be remembered and retold. And Dr. Edith Eger shared that story with us.
Her story gives me chills when I think about it. She was a dancer, and she survived Holocaust by dancing for Dr. Mengele.
Art was key in providing hope to some of those in concentration camps, and Brundibar is a symbol of that.
We won a victory over life's iron tree.
I think it symbolizes that you don't have to submit to a higher dictator, that you can still be free.
Walter Dumel says the opera's still making a difference.
The difference is being made in the lives of these 35 and 40 students. They're living, breathing chapters in this story going forward, and they will be able to share their recollection of being part of Brundibar.
It's going to be tense, but it's going to pay off.
Beth Accomando, KPBS News.